What is going on, everyone? We are back with Center Ice. Once again, I am your host, Joey DeMeglio. I'm joined as always by Jesse Bell. Jesse from Flyers Alley, Delco Dive, you name it, Old City Sports Network. Pretty soon we'll have Joel in. He's slacking today. I think he's caught at the supermarket or something. He was telling us. I don't know what that's all about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today: the skills competition, the All-Star game, the Bo Horvat extension, and that crazy game of the Rangers and the Flames last night. But before we get into that, Jesse, how's everything going?
It's going good. Here's Joel. Here we go.
He is here.
I needed food, and literally the fucking lady in front of me must have ordered half the store. Oh, we're live. I love this.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. What's up, boys?
What's going on? That was genuine. I love that.
I mean, what? I didn't care that we were live. I just kind of looked up. I'm like, oh, look at that. It's been a while.
Here, we're here.
What's up, nerds?
What's up, nerds?
Hey, just because I have a bunch of Avengers posters in the background absolutely means I'm a nerd.
Go Chiefs. I mean, Eagles.
Absolutely. Go Chiefs. I don't even care. Go fucking Chiefs.
E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles!
However, come on, I even got the Sundays for the Birds shirt on. Come on now. You fucking around.
Nice.
Oh,
I gotta go on make an ice cold takes tank top now for summer season.
Oh yeah. There you go. But yes, everything's cool, I guess, on my end. Flyers started up again yesterday. We'll get into the All-Star fiasco. Yeah, dude, this episode is gonna be so clippable. It's not even gonna be fucking funny.
What do you mean? Every episode is clippable. Although he's only yelling at you.
Okay,
Ben, tell Rachel to put those things in the groups, bro. Thanks. But yeah, I got no complaints. My oldest turns 6 tomorrow, so I feel old. Yeah, Charlotte Ryan Bell. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Yeah, it just makes me feel old. But yeah, I'm good. So, Joel, how's the week? How was last week?
It was good. It was good. Yeah. Sorry, I know I missed the show. I'm sure nobody missed me. No.
Real quick, Joel, I did want to say on the topic, Wakanda Forever was fucking horrible. And we can get into that if you'd like to. I'm just saying.
I have not seen that one.
Mean, yeah, we can't get into it. I don't want to spoil it because it was fantastic and you're a hater.
First off, yeah. What? Oh. First off, Namor was not of that ethnicity. I'm just saying. Has nothing to do with anything like that. Just saying. He just wasn't. He literally looked like Spock from Star Trek. That's what he looked like in the comic book. Unnecessary tweak.
The comic book that you sent me the image of him in like when he was first written, and I think it was like the 60s. So
no, that was the 90s actually. That was actually the 90s.
Namor has been around for a lot longer than
that image was from the 90s. That image was from the 90s. It was from the cartoon. Don't fuck around. But I'm just saying.
You are on an island alone. I'm not like
I'm not.
Movie. You are.
But besides that, it was just a huge tribute to Chadwick Boseman, which is fine. That's fine.
But damn right. Our king.
It's okay. That's all. I had a problem with Namor. That was pretty much it.
Hey man, it's set up. Never mind. I was actually about. It's Neymar.
That's
Namor.
what I thought he was.
Namor.
Namor.
I'm behind on the Marvel movies. Ever since Endgame, it's been kind of like slow for me.
All right, yeah.
I've watched some of the TV shows on Disney Plus, but not all of them.
Yeah, they're good.
I have to catch up on.
I gotta go see Ant-Man. If on Ant-Man in the third Ant-Man movie, if they don't put Alien Ant Farm in there, I'm gonna be pissed. It's a great opportunity to put Smooth Criminal. You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal. We don't get copyright strike, do we?
I mean, this is now the second.
I win every single time.
I mean, this is now the second podcast I've been on where now we're singing that, and I sang Taylor Swift in the last one, so I just got copyrighted twice. Like I'm getting sued apparently.
There you go.
But to answer your question, no, I've been good. Been good. Last week was good. Missed show. Went to the Bulls game. They lost because they're the definition of mid. They are.
Jeez.
They can't be worse than the Blackhawks, though. Come on now.
No, they're not. They have a chance to make the playoffs. Blackhawks will not even sniff the playoffs.
Mm.
Speaking of which, we need to make sure we don't win tonight. In fact, I got to turn the game on behind me.
There's a game this week that one of my buddies from work, he makes a good profit off of my bets randomly. Pure luck. I think it's the Ducks versus the Blackhawks this week, and he was like, "What do you want to do with this one?" I said, "Leave that one the fuck alone." There is no way. There's no way to figure that one out. But
I'm scared because that's a team we probably could beat, which scares me. I don't want to win.
Blackhawks are about to get nothing back for Patrick Kane. They're going to not even trade him.
Dude, future Blackhawks scored your OT winner last night.
I saw someone else say that like they should ask for Heedle. I thought that was funny.
Hey, man.
I mean, like, obviously, like you have to ask. Like, anybody could be traded for. Like Connor McDavid, if Gretzky could be traded, then anybody could be traded, right? So
Right.
I mean, if you're not doing your job as a general manager, if you're not asking, like, is there any chance I could get this guy? Like, what do you want for this guy? What do you want for Lafreniere or something like that?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but no way on an expiring deal. I think the Rangers have moved on from Kane. To be,
I don't know, man.
honest.
You guys have. It was 1-2. I saw the report from one of the Blackhawks beat guys. You guys have 1 or 2 scouts in our press box tonight. So I don't know, man. Why else would you be there?
Athanasiou, maybe.
Perhaps, or Domi, perhaps, maybe.
Yep. Those are other guys that I've heard. Our beat reporter Vince McCagliano.
I actually would be like, I'm not gonna like. Obviously, my heart would be ripped out of my chest if Kane or Taves get traded. But aside from that, I love Domi. I love that acquisition, and I knew from the get-go, I was like, that's gonna be fun. So I'd love to see him stay, but I'd love to see him stay. But if we could fleece somebody for him and get somehow like a first-round pick for somebody that's just desperate, yeah, I'd do it.
Athanasiou, I would love to have on the Rangers because he's fast, and the Rangers need speed. Like we have no need for big bruising body forwards. On the fourth line, we need someone who could skate, and Athanasiou is someone like that. And he could even fill out like the middle six position because he's scored 30 goals before.
Yeah, he's also low key a fantastic stick handler. No one really pays attention to it, but like he's low key doesn't lose the puck much.
Noted. Good to know.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's also funny is like he laid Trouba laid that big hit on him earlier this year. So I'm like wondering if the Rangers do trade for him, what's it going to be like in the locker room? Like I talked to Darius Kasparaitis, and a long time ago, Eric Lindros, he absolutely destroyed Lindros. And then Lindros, when he was on the Rangers, he was like vouching for him to come to the team, and they like kind of just let it all go. I'm wondering if it's going to be more like that, or if they're going to have some beef. If a trade like that happens, I would love to see, just for that reason alone.
I mean, these guys are professionals. I imagine that they can like take a look at that and be like, hey, remember that time you laid me out? That was funny. You're buying my ass dinner when I first get there, bro. Like, they can do something like that.
Yep, for sure.
That's fun.
Oh, yeah, but that's not Sebastian Aho. That's
another Aho.
It's his brother. I forgot his name. He's much less of a big deal than Sebastian.
There's 2 Sebastian Ahos.
But what?
Yep.
I thought his name. Really?
His name
There's
actually
2
is
Elias
Sebastian.
Petterssons.
I don't know why that one seems more likely to me.
There's an there's Alex Laferriere on the
Okay, that's just
on the
what?
Kings.
We're making
We're
these
getting
names
a little
up.
too close now. Fuck that guy.
Well,
There's
wait.
2 Jack Hughes.
Is there really 2 Jack Hughes?
Yeah, the Kings have him. I'll look this up now.
So moving on to news, there's been some news. I'm sure you guys have heard it. The Bo Horvat saga.
What? No.
Yeah. And I guess we'll give Joel Stradamus the credit for that one.
Joel Stradamus. I love it.
Hey, it might have been a pretty easy call, but I did say, hey, I said that the first big trade piece this season would be Bo Horvat, and sure enough.
You need to make a TikTok, like go back to that episode where Joel said it, and then bring it back, and then like edit it. Like,
I mean, I
think I do.
You probably have it. I have 3 now. That's 3. That's 3 of those under my belt. There was the 2 hat tricks I called in 2 separate weeks: Tage Thompson and then Alex Ovechkin, and now there's this. Also, last year on Pod Snipe Selly, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Central. Last season, I actually called. It was like 2 or 3 of the head coaching firings that absolutely happened. Joel Stradamus.
You like 3 for 3 now, I guess 4 now. That's pretty good. Pretty all right. Yeah. So that's he's just signed an extension, 8 years, 8.5 mil, at a total of 68 mil in 2032. So that's pretty serious.
I want to talk about like that.
The trade.
The signing, like
the signing specifically,
where it leaves the Islanders as a team. So I saw someone
either
yesterday, I think it was yesterday, say like, haha, in 3 years the Islanders are going to be paying a 35-year-old Anders Lee, a 34-year-old Brock Nelson, a 33-year-old JG Pajot, a 35-year-old Palmieri, like all of them at least $5 million or whatever. Horvat's gonna, in 3 years, he'll be 30. But like, listen, they believe that their core that they have is good enough to win now, and this is what it costs. So you worry about this is here and now. You can't worry about the future. You got to go for it right now. You got to keep the team intact. If it's not good enough, then it's not good enough. Then you could start selling off your assets. You pull the plug at one time. You don't start doing it like right here and right now. Yeah, they might not be as good in 3 years, but you don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years. So they're hoping that they get back to the conference finals. As a Rangers fan, I don't want to see that happen. I don't think it will happen. I don't see it happening, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think it's a good trade for them, and I'll give credit to my partner, but also OCSN's own Dan Bradley. He mentioned this point, and I totally agreed. Because my point was like, Bo Horvat's a damn good ad for the Islanders, but it's not the difference between them, making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They're pushing, they're racing for it. Can they make it? Yeah, sure. But his point that I was mentioning. What?
Pretty hot take from Dan Bradley. I heard that somewhere else today. It was pretty.
No, that's my take. My take is that I don't think that puts them over the edge to, make some sort of deep playoff run or anything like that. His take was that, however, it does create they'd never really truly had that go-to guy that they can kind of lean on to go get them that big goal, to go get them a bunch of different goals. They don't really have that guy. Barzal's an assist guy. Brock Nelson and Anders Lee are both, great players, but they're not gonna, they're not these sharpshooters they're gonna be scoring a bunch of goals. Bo Horvat now can do that for you. The Islanders are a team that mostly leaned on their defense, and obviously they're elite goaltending with Ilya Sorokin. Mm-hmm. Now they at least added a damn elite scoring piece, especially goal scoring. That's Dan's take. I do agree with that take. That's totally true. I just don't necessarily think that Bo Horvat is like the be-all, end-all for the Islanders to now just be this perennial deep playoff contender the next couple of years.
No, I think their window is 3 years. After that,
Yeah.
then they're done. Because their guys are old. Like, they have, let's see, after 3 years, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players signed after 3 years. So,
Right.
and then, it's you have Barzell signed until he's 34, and you have Horvat signed until he's like, what is that, 35, 36 years old. So, you're going for the next 3 years because Lee, Nelson, Bailey, Pajot, your depth scorers are all in their 30s, like low 30s, and they have a lot of depth scorers.
I even heard some rumors about Pajot going.
Pajot, he's got 4 years left, so like maybe they could upgrade there if they don't feel like he's.
The thing is too that you mentioned it too, Joey. Like if things don't really work out, they can use Horvat as a trade piece. If they're all of a sudden going to be like, well, hold on, this might not have been a smart idea. I mean,
right, like in 3 years they could move on from that. If you'll only be 30, I think a team will definitely want that for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's another nice trade deadline piece for somebody. If in 3 years you're like, well, this didn't really work out and things are going in the total opposite direction we were hoping. It was funny. You guys saw what Lou Lamoriello said, right?
Like, oh yeah, it's too long. It's too much money.
You know what you paid him, right? Probably too long and too much money. Like he's going to be 88 years old when that contract is up.
He's not going to be there. I think this is probably his last hoorah.
No, Jesse, you got a good point. Like that's a signing that you do a signing like that when as a GM when you're like, I ain't going to be here, so who cares?
It's a Glenn Sather type move.
On that.
Go ahead.
I mean, if you want to move on from Bo Horvat, I mean, we can move on to something else.
I'm good to go. I don't have anything else to add.
Right in Joel's wheelhouse. Apparently from Pierre LeBrun, Patrick Kane's going to be making a decision soon on what he's going to be doing.
So,
I mean, keep your head up for that.
Yeah, so I gave a small update on Pod Snipe Sally for it. But yeah, I've been following a bunch of the Chicago writers and obviously the big writers like LeBron and stuff. So we did finally get an update, at least from the players' mouths this time, as opposed to just all the speculation. The update is like, there's not a huge update, but they at least came out and said, like, we haven't fully decided. Mostly Kane, I think Taves is in the same boat because they both have the same agent, Pat Brisson. So they still aren't positive. Hell, they're not even close to really knowing if they're going to waive any, their no movement clause. But the other update I saw today is that they are willing to provide a short list of plural teams, that they would consider if an offer came through from said team. There's no speculation on any on what those teams are from each of them, but that's, word from, straight from the horse's mouth type of deal. That's kind of where it's at. So and it sounds like too, I saw the thing about like 7 to 10 days before the deadline.
You writer and connection in Chicago that's letting loose information like that?
I don't have a connection. That's all just like the big, like Chicago writers. I mean, like Mark Lazarus of The Athletic, he's a huge name. He's saying a lot of that stuff, but here, I'll pull out a couple of the other ones. I just didn't have it up. That's why I wasn't naming. What else we got? Hold on. I shared a bunch of stuff. Hold on. So he's not, there's another guy I follow. His name's Tab Bamford. I mean, he's just a local Chicago hockey guy. What else is there? Yeah, there's quite a few. So it's just a lot of the like local Chicago writers reporting on that. And I mean, even some of the Blackhawks, like the TV broadcaster, like insider guys too, like Charlie Romeliotis and stuff like that. They're big guys on NBC Sports Chicago where the games are played or broadcasted. So like it's out there in the open. I didn't like get this insider information or anything.
I was asking. I just it slipped.
I know.
My
I would
radar is all.
if I had one. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But no, I don't really have. That's just that was brought out yesterday, and then also today a little bit too about that short list or whatever that would have plural teams if they even decide to.
Trades should be happening like pretty soon.
Very soon.
I mean, on Sunday the Sharks traded Megna to the Kraken, and that was it was a pretty like underreported move. Like Megna's supposedly a really good defender, and he's cheap. Like a lot of Rangers fans wanted Chris Drury to make a move for him, and a lot of people were saying like a Meyer trade was possibly coming because the Rangers had a 23-man roster, full roster. They called up Will Cooley back up from AHL after the break, and Sammy Blais returned from a conditioning stint. And then literally 20 minutes after, the Sharks made a minor move for cap space reasons with LTIR. And I guess people were speculating that, a trade was coming, and it did. It just didn't happen between the Rangers and the Sharks. It was that lower tier.
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask you about that. I had heard it on another podcast, actually on the Athletics podcast. Mark Lazarus and Scott Powers run that one, and they had mentioned like, the Rangers right now are sitting at, a 23-man roster. Like, why is that? Like something, are they making room for something big, right? Like,
yeah, that shouldn't stay because the longer you have a full roster, the less cap space you're going to build up by the deadline. So you want to get to 22 out of 23 as soon as you can. So I don't know if that's just giving Cooley, the young guy they called up, if they just want him to get some more time in the NHL because he's kind of earned the spot that he's in. He's playing really well so far in the NHL, and he's played well down in the minors with Hartford. And then Sammy Blais, some people are even saying like he's just up here to show other teams as like a way to like that he's fresh, that he's now ready to produce for another team if there is a trade because there's better players on the Rangers than Sammy Blais on the fourth line. Gauthier, Kravtsov, they could use either of those guys. Even Brodzinski, who's like basically a minor league piece for them.
So I found more of the guys like the Chicago guys that tweet. So Mario Tirabassi, he had said, and this is actually kind of like per Pierre LeBrun's tweet about like, Kane talking about a trade or whatever. So on Insider Trading or whatever, Pierre LeBrun reports Pat Brisson, Patrick Kane's agent, says a decision on Kane's future is coming relatively soon, quote, and that means or that teams that make Kane's, quote, short list that will have, a couple teams on it, those teams that make the short list are going to have 7 to 10 days notice ahead of the deadline to prepare for any possible transaction. But then in addition to that, the other reports are neither Taves or Kane have made a final decision, nor will they make a final decision on if they even want to waive the no movement clause.
So what I got from that is that Kane's going to the Coyotes.
What the hell? Yeah, they better get if he's going to the Coyotes, then we better get like 3 first-round picks.
Are they just playing it by ear then? So like let's say Boston comes and makes an offer for Patrick Kane. Is Kane gonna say, all right, yeah, they got a good chance to win this year. Let me waive my no move clause and go to Boston?
So yes and no. Right? Like the way I read it, and he's gone on record saying like I'm starting like there was a lot of traction being lost. Like we thought it was a surefire thing, and now all of a sudden a lot of people are starting to think that he ain't going anywhere. But you're right. The thing is we don't know the conversations that Davidson and Kane or Davidson and Taves are having behind closed doors about, we know, you want to stay here. If the trade that comes, if the offer that comes in, it just blows their mind. I have to imagine Davidson is trying to like work with them on like, look, help me help you type of thing.
Mhm.
Like, look at this team's on your short list and they just blew us away. Let's say it's the Rangers. Let's say it's that crazy trade we talked about with, Lafreniere and like a first and
Right.
whatever it is, right?
I'll humor you. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen, but go ahead.
I know, but let's just throw it out there. Let's say the Rangers say, like, hey, man, we want Patrick Kane. We will send you Lafreniere, a first next year, something crazy, and by no means do I buy into that's an offer that would ever come in. But let's say that happens. I have to imagine Kyle Davidson is like talking to Patrick Kane, like, bro, for our future, we need this. I want what's best for you, but you're going to not only your home state, but a Stanley Cup contending team. Like, come on, man.
Best time, honestly, I'm convinced the best time to have moved Kane was last year's deadline because you could have gotten so much more value. I probably would have been more willing to give up Lafreniere. Like, let's say I'm a GM, right? Which I'm not in reality.
Are
of course.
you?
No. But I see the extra year of control, and let's say the Blackhawks retain 50%.
Yep.
Right. Then you
Which
could get a lot back for that. You could get so much you could get a first, you could get like an A or B level prospect, you could get like a second round pick plus a player that is ready to play in the NHL right now.
Not to mention that was before it was kind of public, but not public, that Kane is still dealing with some nagging injury
He's
that's
healthy.
going to need surgery. So like something's going on there, and
now his value is pretty low. Like it's way lower than what it was before. So I think the Blackhawks missed out on that. At this point, it wouldn't. I don't think it would be a bad thing if they just decided to keep him.
I'm okay with it, but
I know you are.
Like if we're putting a pin in it really quick, I can say, if you're going to ask me two questions of one, what do I think will happen, and what do I want to happen? They're two very different things. Where I sit here today, and this could change totally, but based on what we know as of recently and as of some comments made over the last few weeks and reports, what I think will happen is that both of them actually don't get traded for whatever reason. Both of them don't get traded, and then we go to the offseason, and Patrick Kane signs and takes a hometown discount and stays here, but Taves goes somewhere else. I don't know where. Probably Winnipeg, most likely. I mean, that's his hometown. That's been a thing for years now, and I think it could come to fruition, but not be a trade, be a free agency. Now that's what
hometown, like Kane to Buffalo, maybe.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, right, and they're the NHL's darling this year. Like, come on, man! Like that, you add Patrick Kane to that lineup, they're getting to the playoffs. Now, what I want to happen, I feel like this would not happen. I was hoping this would happen with the Cubs when they traded away all their World Series pieces like Rizzo and Baez. But what I want to happen is that we trade both of them. Whatever the return is,
Get as much as you can. Yeah.
Get as much as you can for each of them. Separate trade, obviously. They're not going to go to the same team, I highly doubt. Trade both of them. Get back whatever you can. But knowingly, they both sign back in the offseason.
That's always that's always something that's in the back of
But it never happens.
I know.
It like almost rarely ever happens. Yeah. Wasn't Giroux supposed to do that this season?
I was gonna bring it up, but it gets to be flared up. But yeah, it was supposed to happen. But yeah, there's actually another thing involved with moving on from Kane. I mean, I will say though, I would agree with him staying, and I just don't see any. And I think we had said this in one of the earlier episodes, even though we haven't even broken 10 yet. I guess they're all early.
Woo!
I don't think he'll any other. His name looks good on any other jersey at this point. It's just kind of like I can't really think of him playing for any other team. I mean, like I can say that in confidence and say that, like you just brought up the G word that we don't bring up that often. I don't really Giroux. I felt more that I feel more that Kane should stay in Chicago more than I would have ever wanted Giroux to stay in Philly because it's just a different vibe for me, at least. I'm probably gonna get crucified for that, but
My
Kane should stay.
You gave Drew an opportunity to win his first Stanley Cup.
Yeah, you guys were doing
Kane could do whatever the hell he wants. Like, honestly.
Yeah, that's why when people are like, early on in the season when people are like, Kane wants to get the hell out. He's won his Stanley Cups. He's won his MVP in one of them. He's won his Conn Smythe. He's won. He won his Calder Trophy. Rookie of the Year and everything. Like, he's got all the hardware. Like, yeah, these guys are right, but it's not one of those things where it's like he just wants to get the hell out. There's no other choice. He's done everything, and at this point, he's coming up on being the best Blackhawk to ever play as a Blackhawk in franchise history. And I could see the way Kane is. I could see him wanting to stay and try and break all of those records. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I don't know. They're playing as we speak. I need to turn it on, but we will. We'll see what happens when we get closer to the deadline. We can bring me on live and watch me in tears if he gets traded. End of an era, truly. Him and Taves.
Well, moving on to other things. You got Brock Besser's apparently talking to Minnesota and the Dirty Jers, New Jersey. I don't know. I was pretty hype on the Besser where Besser's going to go thing, but if it's either one of these two teams, I've 100% lost all interest altogether. So,
well, the Wild makes sense for him. I don't know cap situations there or anything. That's usually where Dan helps me out there with the cap situations for the Wild. But taking the cap aside, Besser's a Minnesota kid, so I mean,
I just besides the jersey and how cool that looks, I'm just not in it for the Wild. So if he goes to New Jersey, I think that would be a better fit for him, to be honest with you.
I think New Jersey's Timo Meier because that Swiss connection.
Yeah.
They have a few Swiss players. Heischer. Oh my gosh, I'm completely blanking. Who else do they have on that team that's Swiss? But that's good. That's a big piece to fall. Like Besser, is that guy next? No, Joel Stradamus.
No. Wait, is what next? What did you say?
Besser? Is Besser the next piece to fall?
I mean, Vancouver is cleaning house. And Besser kind of already has, 1 foot out the door, right? Mm-hmm. He's already talking to other teams. Is he next? No. Timo Meier is next.
Okay.
Where, I could not tell you, but
I actually think the next guy that we're going to talk about here is next.
Who?
Jacob Vrana.
Interesting.
I've reported that he has played his last game as a Detroit Red Wing.
Did you guys see the stuff about Dylan Larkin and his comments at the All-Star game about it was like a dream playing with Mitch Marner. And then everybody, all the Maple Leafs fans just blew up Dylan Larkin signing with the Maple Leafs. It's going to happen. He's a free agent this year. No, Detroit's going to lock him up forever.
Yeah. If Vrana would be an interesting, he's a good player, but he's what was he in the substance abuse or players assistance program?
I don't know if it's trade-ish, but it's definitely. I think he'll be maybe the next one to go. I don't know what his situation is, but it's just being reported.
He was placed on waivers, and every team had an opportunity to claim him, but no one was able to do it. No one did it. Now I think that's because his salary. He's got $5.25 million. That's
right
in today's salary cap crunch world where every team has issues. That's a tough one. Detroit will probably have to retain some salary, I think, if he's going to get traded. But he's got just this year left.
They got to be some. They got to do something at the deadline too, because they're just their goalie situation is so wish-washy. Yeah, Elkovic. I think what was it? Oh no, I don't know if Barnier's on that team anymore. Wherever, oh no, he's in Jersey. He's just hurt all the time. They don't have any. Villa was it Husso is a little back and forth. So I mean,
I
I
don't know.
think
I'm all in on Husso. I think he's the real deal.
you don't have him in fantasy. You should see that fucking nonsense.
I do have him in fantasy.
Oh, actually,
Why?
Vrana has one more year after this year. So, yeah, that makes it even more challenging for some teams. Good player, but yeah.
Yeah, he's having a tough time right now. He's still above 90 save percentage, but like he's 28. He's pretty much entering the prime goalie age.
Yeah.
Prime goalie age is pretty much that 28 to like 32 range. Weird.
Well, moving on from that, they have let's see, Dylan Cousins signs an extension, 7 years, 7.1 mil. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Sabres being in the playoffs if that ends up happening. I'll be rooting for them because we damn well know the Flyers aren't getting in there.
Whoever's not rooting for the Sabres, aside from Rangers fans, I don't trust you as a human being. They're the darling of the league right now. Everyone is rooting for them.
Your humanity.
Yeah, what, you think Rangers fans aren't rooting for the Sabres? I want the Sabres to
we got a former Sabre coming on our show in the next, I think, month or two.
It's an in-state rivalry. No?
Not as much as Rangers Islanders.
That's fair. Which I know we were talking about the Islanders making the playoffs or not. Like, I don't know if they will, but if they do, my God, would I love a first round of Rangers Islanders.
But if Buffalo makes the playoffs, that means one of Washington, Pittsburgh, or the Islanders is not making the playoffs. One of those teams, because that's how it is right now. Unless the Rangers have games in hand on the Capitals. I think they have 3 games in hand at the start of the night. If I remember correctly, I was looking at the standings today.
What'd you say the Rangers have games in hand?
They have 3 games in hand on the Capitals, and
on Pittsburgh they have 4 games in hand. I'm sorry,
4 games in hand on Pittsburgh.
I'm sorry, 9. They have 1 game in hand on Pittsburgh, they have 3 games in hand on Washington. They actually are.
Yeah. One in hand on Pittsburgh, and then 3 in hand on the Rangers. On the Capitals.
Pittsburgh actually has 1 game in hand on the Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're right. 3 games in hand on Washington. Yeah, so
right.
So
you'd have to imagine one of Washington, Pittsburgh, or the Islanders are not making the playoffs.
Well, and that's got to be, and I mean, we could build on this. We can build. Whoa, whole hot take. He's on fire. He's on fire.
Well, I missed it.
He's on fire. Washington's not making the playoffs.
Washington's not making the playoffs.
They're more interested in what Ovi's doing. They don't give a shit, dude. They're not making it.
I mean, they're making it. They're making it before Pittsburgh does. Call that a toasty take.
Pittsburgh's got 4 in hand on Washington. Is what I meant to say before.
Oh yes, you are right.
Yeah, so I think Pittsburgh's gonna make it, and if anybody, like if Buffalo takes it, that's it's their time. Like next year, they're gonna be animals. Like they're gonna become gunning for one of those top 3 Atlantic Division spots. If Buffalo makes it this year.
Well, I mean, it's interesting too. That's one of the kind of most enticing races in the second half of this year, right? We're coming out of the All-Star break. The race you're just talking about, like, can Washington and Pittsburgh like hold pace and both make it in, or are both of them or one of them screwed?
Like like this is the conversation that we continue to have every single year. Like everybody doubts, like, oh yeah, this is the year Ovechkin is too old and can't carry them anymore. This is the year Malkin, Crosby, Letang are are over the hill and the Penguins are done. And then they just, when it comes to stretch time, they continue to win games and they get themselves in the playoffs every single year. It's the same conversation over the past like 3-4 years. We keep saying it, and we haven't been proven it. We've been proven wrong every single time.
Right? Hey,
No,
I've been one of them.
So the one time,
Look at
the one time I say that they're going to make the playoffs, they're going to again prove me wrong and not make the playoffs.
I think it's unfair to say that any team is old. Look at the Boston Bruins. I mean, they got not like old, but they're not they're by far not the youngest team in the.
They're not young. Okay, yeah.
They're definitely killing it.
That's another enticing race for the second half of the season. Can they beat the regular season wins record? That number is 62 wins. So can they beat it?
In a 60-win season, you cannot have any more than 22 losses total. They have 12 right now in 51 games. That's incredible.
I don't know where the hell it came from, to be honest with you.
Move on. For the love of God. We do have Crosby's comments about the playoff layout.
Yeah, I want to get into this.
Basically, in a nutshell, said to go back to the way that it was, and you actually hear a lot of former players and a lot of, I guess, veteran players saying that they would 100% like to just go back to the old days. They've even gone to the lengths of talking about the jerseys just going back to the original. West is one color, East is the other color, instead of like kind of like this doodad they're doing now. So.
What you mean for the All-Star game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean,
that's a separate conversation.
Yeah, that's a. I quite frankly, we didn't touch on the All-Star game because who the hell cares?
Like the All-Star game
yeah, we will, but it's meh. But I mean, I heard that, and I actually asked Dan this too on Pod Snipe Selly about like the 1 through 8. I mean, that's when I started watching hockey. Was the 1 through 8? Yeah, Joe, you too. Like that's when I started watching, and it was simplistic, made a lot of sense, and I understood the gripe because there were a lot of players. That's ultimately why it changed to this wild card thing, because you had teams in one division with a better record than another, like a leader in another division, but they were missing the playoffs. Like, I understand that gripe. But I think 1 through 8 or 1 to 8 like could make a lot of sense to go back to. I heard a take, and this is gonna be fun. I kind of want to see what you guys think of this one. I heard this take and I kind of agreed with it. What if they expand, go 1 to 16, but they figure like the divisional leaders get to pick their first round opponent?
I don't like that idea of picking the first round opponent.
I think it's awesome. I think it'd be hilarious.
They floated that idea out with the MLB like last offseason, I think. And I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
It sounds.
Everybody's just gonna pick the lowest team or whatever.
Not always. I don't think so. That's why I think it would be enticing. Like, you want the we talked about it on Pod Snipe Selly a little bit. The viewership and the ratings and everything are down, even though the league itself, the NHL, is at an all-time high, but that all-time high is still a lot of room for improvement. Ratings and everything are down. You want to get people more enticed? Do something weird like that. Like, that could create some I kind of like it. That could create some WWE style drama right there. Like, you got the top team, like, all right, you know what? We want that team, the 6th seed or something, instead of picking the very bottom. Then you got that 6th seed team going like, what the fuck do you mean you pick us? What the hell does that mean? And then there's just this, it creates a rivalry right off the bat, even if like those teams have never even touched each other in the playoffs.
Right. Like, so you were saying the top 16 teams in the league, and what are the divisions then? Same divisions as they are now?
Well, yeah. And there was, it wasn't I didn't get elaborate on it, but it was like the top team in each division. And even if you stuck to like, the 1 to 8, but each division leader or each top team or whatever got to pick their opponent. Like it's something dumb. I don't think it would really ever happen, but like it'd be fun.
It would definitely cause a lot of drama. I'm definitely
That's
in
what I'm
on that.
saying.
And then you get like the team that like picks the one team to play because they're so lowly ranked, and then they get beat the shit out of.
Right. Because then it's like, hey man, like you picked us, all right, put your. It's similar to like, don't you think that one year that the Lightning, and this was before the Lightning got their back-to-back cups and went to 3 Stanley Cups straight.
I was just gonna say,
yeah, don't you think the Lightning would have picked the Blue Jackets anyway as their team if they got to pick? And then all of a sudden, what happens? They get swept
the internet
by the
let
Blue
them
Jackets.
have it. They still let them have it to this day.
Right, exactly. You would get stuff like what we just had in the NFL with the AFC Championship, where before anything ever happened, people were calling Arrowhead Stadium for the Chiefs. They were calling it Burrowhead because he owns them, and the Chiefs went out and won the game. Like it would create shit like that, and it's just kind of fun.
I get what you're saying. But to Crosby's comments, I much rather prefer the 1 through 8 with the old division. With the old divisions, go back to playing at least 4 games against your division opponent, your rivals. Enough with this 3 crap. Like Calgary and Edmonton only playing 3 games this year is a travesty. The Rangers and the Islanders only playing 3 games this year when they're both, contenders for the playoffs is a travesty. That should never happen. I don't need to see the Rangers play the Vancouver Canucks twice or the Vegas Golden Knights twice. Right? Take one of those games away and put it for the divisional opponents. Like, I don't understand that. But the 1 through 8 was good. It was fair.
No,
now
1 through 8 was good.
This year you're gonna have Toronto and Tampa Bay, the 4th and the 6th best teams in the league, face off each other in the first round. So one of those teams, after having a really great year, is gonna go home in the first round. That I don't agree with. And this playoff matchups, the way that they're laid out, is always gonna be the same. It was always Boston-Toronto, or it's always Boston-Tampa in the first round. Always. Within the past, 4 or 5 years, it's always been like that. And I'm tired of it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, too, because when the comments got thrown out there, you saw a bunch of, at least I saw a little bit of it, too, a bunch of Maple Leafs fans bitching and moaning about it, that they'd rather stay at the, where they're at right now, the wild card and whatever. But when you actually look at the math, you just said it. It actually doesn't even matter. They're playing Tampa regardless. If you do the wild card or if you do 1 to 8, it's 4 and 5 playing anyway. So who the hell cares? It's the same thing.
Are they 4 and 5?
They are 4 and 5, right? Like right now, if you go through it and do it, if you switch the format back to 1 to 8, they're still playing each other. So it's like, what the hell are you bitching about? You're not going to make it out of the first round anyway.
Okay.
I agree with you.
But we haven't seen Boston and Pittsburgh. I would love to see. I would love to see the Rangers and the Devils play. I haven't seen that, and I've never seen a playoff series between the Rangers and the Devils.
Didn't they?
I haven't seen it. Since I started watching hockey, I have.
I was going to say, I think 2012.
Oh wait, yeah, 2012. Yeah. Oh, I don't talk about that one. Never mind. I don't talk about that one.
What? You made it to the final? You made it to the cup final?
No,
I'm sorry. No, you didn't.
Exactly. That's why we don't talk about it. It didn't exist. It never happened.
All right, that's fair.
Who's Adam Henrique? I've never heard of that guy.
I don't know. He's on he went to the Ducks and never really heard from him much.
Yeah, no, I don't know who that guy is.
It's okay. The Kings ended up winning anyway. It's fine, That was during a time where it didn't matter who from the East was going to win. You were going to go up against either the Hawks or the Kings, and you were going to lose.
And you were going to lose. Yes.
So I got 2 more things, and then we can move on to the fraud watch. Wayne Gretzky said that Actually, I have one thing. Wayne Gretzky said that Jack Hughes will be the one to battle Connor McDavid. I personally think that
I read through his quote a little bit, and it was basically I don't have the quote up in front of me, but it was basically like Jack Hughes is going to be he's the one I could see fighting for that spot with McDavid right now. And man, it's
Hot take.
I don't know, like not a hot take specific. I mean, like McDavid is personally the best hockey player I've ever seen in my life, and I think even Gretzky is sitting there saying he's better than me. He has said he's better than him.
I will say that Jack Hughes is the much more marketable player than Connor McDavid. Like McDavid has zero personality, and Hughes has all the personality in the world.
I think he was actually. We were watching the game the other night, and me and my wife were sitting on the couch. I know she wasn't paying attention to me because whenever I watch hockey, she just zones me out. McDavid, I forget what it was, who they were playing, but McDavid scores and he just skates by, or he was trying to score or something like that. I just looked at him and was like, he just kind of looks like a dick. Like he just kind of looks like, yeah, like he's just it is all him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's kind of like the situation that the Oilers have put him in. It's not his fault. But like the team that he's on right now, it's literally all on McDavid, and then like the rest of it's on Draisaitl. But I don't know if this is an accurate. I don't know if this is accurate. I feel like there's like there's a couple other players in the league that could like do some damage, like a Jason Robertson.
I don't think he's catching McDavid.
Well, I don't think that you can say that he's worse than Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes' first 2 seasons, he didn't do fucking anything.
Yeah, but this comes right down to you got to give these kids some time.
Exactly. Joel? What did you tell me before? You tagged me in something before.
Yeah, I tagged you in something that said, I'm gonna find the tweet right now.
It was the Rangers kid line, and it was like a graphic of their points this season. It doesn't look spectacular. Go ahead.
Oh, wait, where is it? I gotta find it. Keep riffing.
All right,
I'll find it.
Well, it doesn't look spectacular, but within the past 5 to 10 games since they've been together, they haven't been together. They haven't been put back together for like 5 or 10 games. But in the past 5 to 10 games, each of them has been lighting it up. And Philip Hedl is on an absolute tear. He's going to hit 20 goals. He might even get 30 goals before the end of the year in a contract year.
I found it. So
go ahead.
Yeah, so I tweeted at you and I said, hey, like it's almost like we were right about this and said give him some time. So yeah, you're right. The kid line. In the what is it? So the last 5 games, they got 5 goals and 10 assists combined. But right now we got Lafreniere with 6 goals, 16 assists, and 22 points. Philip Hedl, 16 goals, 13 assists, 29 points. Capo Caco.
That was before last night's game.
All right, 9 goals, 14 assists, 23 for Capo Caco. Oh my God! It's almost like not all of these kids are going to be Connor McDavid out of the draft.
It's hard.
Same thing with Jack Hughes. And Jack Hughes right now, I'll pull up his numbers in count me down from 10 seconds. 35 goals, 32 assists. Good enough for 67 points in 57 games played.
He's good for the game. Like, I hate the Devils. Absolutely hate the Devils. No, I hate Hughes because he's a Devil, but great player for the game, to market the game, to make the NHL better. If you want to make those ratings go up, you need players like Jack Hughes. You need those guys.
Arguably one of the coolest sellies I've ever seen, and it was against my team.
Oh, the stick throw?
Stick throw into the crowd.
It was original at the time. Yeah, it
was great.
I remember watching that, and I'm like, did he actually just do that?
Yeah. That was was that? Oh no, it was at home. I for some reason thought it was at the United Center. I'm like, dude, the balls on this kid to do that at the United Center. But never mind. No, he did it at home. But I saw him do that, and like you'd think as a like obsessed Hawks fan, I would get pissed. I saw that and was like, you know what? Good for you. That's badass. Like, do more of that.
Right. For sure. With Hughes, he's the personality. Like you see those interviews he does in between periods after the game, like he doesn't want to be there, and he's just really funny. Like McDavid, you just get blah, 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 blah. Like Subban was trying to spark up a conversation with him and McKinnon about the nicknames. Subban's getting all into it, but McDavid's just like, yeah, McJesus. Like, bruh. I mean, have some energy. Come on.
I know. I mean, his marketability, though, you don't need to market him because his play markets itself, type of thing.
I know.
He's on his own planet, but I'm with you though. You got to have more of those personalities.
Trevor
Zegras. That kid is great for the game.
Yeah. Electric personalities is what we need. There's a lot of them in the NHL. They're not afraid. They're not shy when the camera's on them, like literally with the microphone in your face. Like,
we got to do a Jesse check-in. We're saying a lot of star names, and we know how Jesse feels about all the star players. He hates all of them. So
letting you guys go, man. Letting you guys go. Let me know when you want to move on.
I want to rip on the All-Star game.
Yeah,
I'm ready to
do the
All-Star
that. Game. And as always, Fraud Watch is brought to you by Sterling Pig Brewery. Go to www.sterlingpig.com for a great atmosphere and even better food, craft beer brewed happily in the Delaware Valley that I still don't have.
I don't have it either. I have some ideas for like commercials, like ads for that.
Dude, I'll review them just like a pizza review. Like the Barstool pizza reviews. Yeah.
All right, Frankie, pizza review time.
Yeah. All right, Frankie. Oh, look at that. Goal by Jason Dickinson. Patrick Kane assists on it.
Oh, lovely.
We're supposed to be losing, goddammit. Anyway, on to Fraud Watch. Where did Jesse go?
All right, Jesse is out. He had to leave, but Fraud Watch, Sterling Pig Brewery. I think Jesse had the Fraud Watch for.
Yeah, but we all kind of agreed on it. Fraud Watch is the NHL All-Star Weekend. The 2023 All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, the NHL All-Star Weekend was a shit show, I will say. The skills competition was terrible, absolutely horrendous. So, how do I put it? Like, I'm trying to think of all these negative adjectives. Like, there was more screen time for ads than there was screen time for the actual players.
Right. That's the biggest thing I heard. Like, I didn't watch the whole thing live, and that's an atonement to how I was like, I don't have that much interest. And usually that's saying something because I love the skills competition. Like last year's was awesome.
Those cool events, like the specialty events for each year for whatever place they're in. Like in St. Louis, it was the one where they did it from the stands,
rafters.
like they shot.
Patrick
that was cool.
Patrick,
of course, Patrick Kane won it. That's his event, right?
Yeah, but like last year, doing the saucer passing from the platforms
that was
in
cool
the middle of the
that.
Bellagio fountain in Vegas. Like that was
cool.
Amazing.
That was cool. The dunk tank was good this year. Like I liked the dunk tank thing. I thought that was cool.
That was cool. I liked that. Now, the biggest thing I heard and kind of saw a little bit too was they didn't have a flow to it like normal. Like it wasn't one after the other. They were like going on at the same time.
Right. I don't know how they did that.
Why would you do that?
From the very first event, the fastest skater competition. So you would think they would do it all, right? Like finish it, start to finish.
Right.
No. They did all the qualifiers, all the contestants, right? They got the finalists, and then you know what they did? We'll be right back later in the night after this break, right? Like they not only did they American Idol you, come back after the break, but they said it's gonna be not after the break, but after the break later in the night. So we had to wait for that. It was all over the place. And then they did another event, the goalie tandem event, right? Or was it the breakaway challenge? Either way, they did one shot and then they cut to commercial and then they came back with another event. All over the place.
It just was so weird to me that they the other thing too was like you said, they're cutting to commercials and apparently that was affecting the players too. So Philip Thompson he's a Chicago beat writer. He was interviewing Seth Jones today, just asking him, in general, like, how was your All-Star experience? And literally Seth Jones went on record and was just like, I don't know why the hell it has to be 3 hours long. Like, I think we need to, you got to trim that down a little bit.
Yeah.
He was even saying they would he mentioned the fastest skater competition. And I don't remember who he said was going at the time, but he literally said they did their first run. and then they cut to some commercials, and then they cut to I think the golf thing that they were doing, and then they came back, and it was basically like an hour almost between runs for whoever he had said was doing the. I think it might have been Dylan Larkin who was doing his second run for fastest skater.
Svechnikov and Fiala, I think, were the finalists.
They were the finalists, right? And what he said, like I think it was Larkin or maybe it was Svechnikov, who like their second run, they had to wait an hour. Like their legs got cold at that point too from the first run. Like that's how you get hurt.
I don't know. I guess that's how. I guess it was actually an hour because they filmed. I think they filmed the dunk tank stuff like in advance because it was sunny out. They had to have. It was just all over the place. Like, I mean, I have ADHD, so like I can't focus on one thing. I struggle to focus on one thing at one time, but like not like that.
No, that was. I just don't understand. Like they need to. Like even last year was fine. They did the cool over the top stuff. Also the breakaway competition. What used to be really fun, like even if you're doing the gimmicky shit, like I Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite comedies of all time. I love the David Pasternak like paying homage to Happy Gilmore. Works perfectly too. He's on the Bruins. Like that was funny, but the shot itself was you're just putting.
There was no skill involved.
Right. You missed a putt from center ice with no goalie, and then you moved closer and putted from like the goalie crease, basically, the edge of the goalie crease.
Right. Like at least Matthew Tkachuk actually did some skill. Like he had some skill involved on his shot. Or like the I like that they had Luongo in there. That was funny. Like, you always have to have that celebrity goalie.
I
love that.
Yeah, they brought home the homer.
Let's give the spotlight on the kid to take the shot instead of me. You know what I mean? Like when Corey Perry did it in 2011, that was cool. I think it was Corey Perry that did it.
What?
Long time ago. Like he grabbed the like a little mini stick.
Oh yeah, that was
another time someone grabbed a little kid, like stopped in the middle of their shot and grabbed the little kid and had him like do the stick handle. And then they memed it a couple years later with Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah. That was and that's all cool. Like even last year with Alex DeBrincat doing the Hangover parody with like he's got little baby Carlos on his it's fun, and Zegras doing the dodgeball thing where he blindfolded and scored.
That was cool because he actually like did something crazy with his stick. Like he, did some crazy lacrosse style move with that. But they took all the skill away. Like the Crosby Ovechkin thing, it was terrible. I mean, it's fun with his kid. Like I think it's fun. No, I don't have anything against that, but like plus like, you got two, like that's kind of fun, like the message it sends. It's like two goats. I know, but like they could have done something crazy. They could have like pitched and catched it. Like, you know what I mean? They could have done.
Yeah, I know.
I completely remember like the two All-Star games that I'll remember forever, like the 2011 skills competition and the 2012 skills competition. 2012, I think, was the one where Patty Kane wore the Superman glasses.
Yep, and Hossa put on the glasses for him and everything. Yep.
He had the broken puck and he shot it and it broke into a million pieces.
Yep.
And then the 2011 one was the one where Corey Perry did like a crazy lacrosse move. He had like a mini stick one. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the one where he grabbed the kid, I think. Maybe. Or I'm thinking of somebody else.
Because that was the time when they would get 3 shots. So it's like awesome, dude. Like you get them to think of 3. Usually their first shot was just something fun with the stick and that's it.
Right.
Like then the other two. But then the other 2 were like these crazy, like, what the hell is he doing? Well, that was kind of cool type of thing. And they got creative with it. Now it's just.
Ovechkin like turned his stick upside down and started deking the puck with the knob of his stick instead of the blade.
It was like, that's so stupid, but it's funny. Like it's good.
Right. It was good. And then the fans would vote on it on their phone.
Right.
And it wasn't these subjective like people that would just hand out, oh yeah, Matthew Tkachuk with this great move. Here's a 2. Like what?
Right.
How is that get a 2? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Technically, the coolest goal from the breakaway challenge was Sarah Nurse. That was a sick move. It was a little one-handed tuck.
Yeah.
But-
and I think at that point, all the goal, like before that, no goal had been scored. I think that was the first goal.
I
that
think
had
you're
been
right.
scored.
Yeah.
And it was like all the goalies were trying. And then, someone said like, just took it, stop. He didn't move on that one. It was a fantastic move. Don't get me wrong. It was a fantastic move. But the goalie's got to stop trying at all times. Like, let
The
the
goalies
players
aren't
do
supposed to
the-
try. Right. Exactly.
Like I remember like the old All-Star games, like Carey Price would like turn and face his back away from the goal and look in the mirror at his reflection. Or
He
in
was,
the glass,
and they would have him mic'd up because he was a great interview. He was hilarious, and he would
Yeah.
like stand on his head and do like a bunch of butterfly things and just go nuts. Because the whole point isn't to stop the puck.
Like Fleury would do like snow angels in the net. I forget. I think it was Fleury that did it. Like one year he did snow angels in the net.
Like the other thing too, like moving on to the game itself, I'll be the first to tell you I liked when they went to that 3-on-3.
Oh yeah,
like all-star, like divisional format thing. Like that's cool. 3-on-3 is one of the best things that happened to hockey.
It goes fast.
It's fun. It's cool. There's a lot of scoring, but like they don't play for anything. So if they're not playing for anything, I know they play for the $1 million. And nice enough, I do like that the NHL matches it to a charity. That's cool. Keep that. Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Which they should. I mean, you can't sit there and just be like, yeah, the players are playing for $1 million. That they all make $1 million. What the hell does that matter? Like.
And I think Gary Bettman basically came out and explicitly said it's a money grab for them.
Basically. And it's like, unless you're just like a one-off rookie that made it to the All-Star game, that's like never going to get paid that kind of money. All these other guys are just like, this is splitting this money amongst the team. Like I make this in a couple weeks. Like who the hell cares? Yeah. I did throw out there, like, they got to play for something. Obviously, I don't think they should do something like the MLB used to do, where you play for home field advantage in the World Series. You play for home ice advantage in the Stanley Cup final. Like that could work, but I know people would get pissed and things are going to...
They took that away from Major League Baseball. That was like the only sport that did that.
I like, you got to do something. The league, they have to add something. Well, they definitely need to fix the broadcast shit because ESPN dropped the ball hard on that. But they just have to. They got to add something, like Nick Suzuki winning the golf thing, and he won like a year's supply of Chipotle. He plays in Montreal, and there are no Chipotles in Montreal. So yeah, that's good dinner for him when they're on the road, I guess. But
somebody should like put like Curb Your Enthusiasm music over that, like with Gary Bettman.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like it's just. I guess I'm not the curmudgeon that's going to be like, oh, the All-Star weekends in every sport suck. Why even do them? Like, I'm not going to sound like that, but at the same time, like, does anyone really care that much about
it's a tradition. Like, it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
I'll continue to watch it, like, because my favorite players are in there. Like, team players from my team are in there. So, I want to see that. I remember when like the rookie teams were there, like when Hagelin was on there, when Stepan was a rookie, when Marian Gaborik scored 3 goals, I think, in the All-Star game, and then shot Lundqvist. I'll always remember that.
Yeah,
I won't not watch the All-Star game, but like the skills competition. I think Jesse left some notes here before he left it. The trick contest was a joke. Only the OG contests were good. Remember, like, the team relays, like, where they had the little mini nets, and then, like,
those were cool.
Yeah, those were sick.
Yeah, those were fun. I actually disagree with Jesse's point on PK. I like PK. Like, he's a good he's got a personality.
Oh yeah, that's like that role that he's in on ESPN. I think it's a good role for him.
That's one of the few. Yeah, that's one of the few people they get on ESPN that actually does do a good job.
Yeah, he's electric. They should probably try him out on TNT. I'd love to see what he'd have to say to this.
Oh my god!
I think that would be funny.
Back and forth between him and Biz would be that. I don't even know if they could do it because they would probably both lose the filter that they already barely have anyway, and then they'd start saying words you can't say on live TV.
They should, like, test it out though, like pseudo live, like pretend like there is a camera there. You know what I mean? I know it's not the same, but
didn't it happen last year?
I have to go back and check.
Like
I don't
when
know.
when TNT does the in studio interviews with whoever it was, and I think like it was pre-game for something. I don't remember what it was, and I think they like didn't get a player, but they instead got PK because like ESPN was there for it too. Maybe it was the Winter Classic or something.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Not sure.
whatever it was, but I thought they did something, and I was like, that was funny.
I'll say, like he says, Jesse's saying Pat Maroon instead of John Scott. Like, I have no idea why Pat Maroon was there. Like, I'm like, this is an active NHL player. Why is he here? You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess similar to why like Zegras wasn't an all-star last year, but they brought him in. But that was what they did with it and how they made it worked. It was funny. It was fun. And they put him
Zegras
in.
not an all-star last year? Really?
No, he didn't make it, but they like brought him in to be in the breakaway competition because obviously he's got the sickest hands in the league right now. So like they had to add him in there. They clearly saw like, oh shit, well we messed up. We didn't grab him into the All-Star competition. So yeah, like I loved it. Like I am with Jesse on that. The John Scott All-Star MVP.
John Scott would have been funny. I didn't even think about that.
So badass. Like I loved that, and I loved.
You'll never forget that because he fought Kane. Like he
dropped the gloves. It was so awesome.
Yeah, I remember watching that one. That was fun. And like they traded John Scott, and he just represented the NHL when he went to the game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because it was so weird.
That was Bettman's stupid thing to try and not get him to be in the All-Star game the All-Star game because he's like, well, he got traded, he can't go, and it's like no.
Yeah, well, Bo Horvat got traded, and he put on the Islanders jersey like for the first time at the All-Star game.
That is awesome too. Actually,
it's hilarious.
Oh god. I guess go ahead.
I like I like that they brought the styrofoam back for the shooting targets. I hated the digital stuff. You have to have the styrofoam targets for the accuracy contest.
Yeah. Oh, I mean that was definitely a highlight that I liked.
Yeah, they brought that back. I was glad that they did that. I didn't like the digital stuff, man.
No, but I mean McDavid, that was sick.
You got 4 for 4?
4 for 4 in what was it, 9.4 seconds, I want to say, or 9.6, something like that. Like
he did it. He made it look really easy. But
the stupid thing is he didn't even win because then they did the race thing of like.
I didn't even see that.
That was the second part of it where it was like they did that. Then it was a race between two players, and like the one round was timed, and he lost by like 0.3 seconds, 0.03, something crazy. And then the final round, which is how Brock Nelson ended up winning. He won because it wasn't timed anymore. It was just whoever gets all 4 targets first. And I'm like, why did you switch it?
The rules were so weird. Like with the dunk contest thing, it was like, I swear, I think McKinnon had like 15 seconds to beat like Crosby's time or something like that.
Right.
Which is like, I'm like, what? He just started. How is he already running out of time? What the hell? What is going on here? Yeah, the rules weren't really explained too well. Like I thought they were gonna do like what Subban did in the beginning, like have like an actual demonstration of like, how to do it. Like Subban was like actually skating around. Like, all right, so the players are gonna start here, they're gonna skate around here, come all the way around, and then come back to the end, and then time stops there. Like it was an actual physical demonstration rather than like a visual one on like a teleprompter or something like that. Right. Which I like. I thought that was neat. Yeah, I think the NHL dropped the ball overall on the All-Star weekend in terms of entertainment. Like the golf thing, as soon as the golf thing was on, like I completely lost interest. Like I turned it off, honestly.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't even watch the whole thing, and then I watched some of the All-Star game itself. I think I watched the finals between Atlantic and Central, and I was like, oh, Central might have a chance. Nope, there it goes.
I watched a little bit here and there of the games.
But that was it. Yeah, no, I agree. They dropped the ball. I think everyone will tell us, please, for the love of God, just put a pin in the All-Star game because we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's try it again in 2024 and see what happens.
Yeah. Definitely the fraud watch of the week, the All-Star game. But yeah, we're going a bit long here, but we'll move into the final thoughts here. Joel, do you have anything to add before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I mean, the only really thing we covered everything, obviously, other than the All-Star break and obviously the Bo Horvat stuff. Like, there's not really too much right now. We are coming up on the trade deadline. We are exactly 1 month and 2 days away, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry. We are when is it? It's March.
I thought it was March 3rd.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, we are less than a month away. I was going to say, I thought it was on a Friday. So yeah, we are less than a month away from the trade deadline. In fact, we're about 3.5 weeks away from it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my final thought. Like, I gave the updates on the Taves and Kane stuff. That's where my eyes are going to be mostly. Obviously, they'll be on the rest of the league too, with all the other big names out there like Timo Meyer, Brock Besser, Erik Karlsson, perhaps, right? Like, there's a bunch of different names out there that could be going somewhere else. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're going to do I hope we do some sort of like reaction episode type thing.
For sure.
Even live thing. Like, it's on a Friday, right? Like,
yeah,
we'll see what happens there. But yeah, my final thought is just I will be tuned in to all the insiders on the Hawks to see what happens with that.
Yeah, I have no idea how we went this entire episode without talking about that Rangers and Flames game. What a crazy game that was.
I agree. There's a good final thought for you.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. But Trouba's hits are clean, and he didn't need to fight. There's my final thought.
I guess actually, you know what? You gave me one more final thought. Upon further review, the Trouba hit on Kadri was clean.
All right, we got him. Yeah.
However, his intent was dirty. All right, move on.
Oh man, yeah, but Trouba lit him up, the hell up, and then the Flames ended up shorthanded.
That is funny, right? Like, just like, what the
Rangers
hell?
scored on it.
You know what? I want to get one other final thought from you on the fighting after a big hit thing. Like, are you cool with it? Are you really far on one side or the other where you're like, you're all for it, you absolutely despise it, or you might be like me in the middle, like, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Like, even if it's unnecessary, it's like, you know what? He's defending his teammate. It's a big hit.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's dirty, though.
Right. Like, in the moment, the player is on the ice. Like, they might not see, they just see player hits player on my team. My guy goes down.
Right.
Therefore, it is dirty. Like, that's how they're thinking in that moment. Like, they might not like completely comprehend the actual hit. Like, they might see just, contact in the head area, but not necessarily the head. So they think they need to step in. You know what I mean? Like, I like to see the fight, but I agree. Like, a penalty should definitely be called in that situation. Like, yeah, the referee says.
Oh, for sure.
I'm with you on that, though.
You get the instigator, that's fine. That's like, I'm with you there. The other thing too is like Kadri, that's one of their stars, right? So like, when the star gets roughed up in any way, whether it's dirty or clean, that's kind of where I see and the fighting is fine. Like, the same thing is like Patrick Kane gets leveled, but it's totally clean hit. Someone like Taves or whoever else nowadays, like Domi or somebody, is gonna go in there and drop the gloves.
Right.
And
if that's your player, then you have to go in there. Like, if somebody decks Panarin somehow or Adam Fox, I swear to God, I want somebody like dropping the gloves with that person yesterday.
Right.
Like, whether that's Lindgren or hell, Zibanejad, if he wants to drop the gloves, I don't think he's ever fought in his career as Zibanejad. But
it's
like,
still a very big part of the game.
for sure. Like somebody's got to step up for that. No,
to me, it's still a very big part of the game where it's just like, no, you are not going to come here, or we're not going to come to you, and you are not going to rough up our star and think you're going to get away with it. No.
Right. Like, if anybody touches the goaltender, you're getting shoved at the very least.
Exactly.
Like, when everything changed for me, like when Panarin got ragdolled by Tom Wilson, really, like,
I remember
And I
that.
think that's why like the Rangers like kind of changed stuff up. They got Goudreau, they got Reeves and stuff like that. They don't want to get pushed around, and James Dolan doesn't want to see that. Right? I understand that. I don't want to see Panarin. If somebody, like I said, if somebody lays out Panarin, somebody better be there to tell him like you don't do that. You don't lay Panarin out
Right.
like that. Like you better think twice before you do that again.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good final thought actually, because I
It was a hell of a game.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. I saw people saying like those are the types of games that need to happen in the NHL. Like it had everything. It had hits, fighting, scoring, controversy, overtime, you name it.
Overtime. The rookie not the rookie, but the young kid that no one gave time to, scoring the overtime winner.
Right.
Hey, the future Blackhawk. No.
Right. Like those games are great for the NHL. I saw a video, some Calgary Flames fan said it was it was a great game, even though he came out on the short end of the stick. Like just watching it was
Right.
good. Honestly, it might be so far one of the best games of the NHL season to date. We'll see if anything tops it. But yeah. Rangers Flames, great game. Trouba shouldn't have had to answer, but I do like the fighting. Hockey's a physical sport. You cannot take that away.
No. I'm all for paying attention to diminishing concussions as much as you can.
Oh,
but
yeah,
fighting is not something that gets cut. Like you keep fighting in the game. Doesn't happen that often anyway.
Yeah, it's a tradition. Like it's always been a part of hockey. But I agree with you. Take the if you could have as few hits to the head as possible, perfect.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Leave the physicality aspect in there. All right, but that's it for me. Make sure you guys go follow Old City Sports on Twitter. Go to www.oldcitysports.com. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, all the social media pages. You can follow Joel at Joel Fernino, and you can follow me at Ice Cold Takes Pod. Center Ice guys, we love you. We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!